Welcome back to the WACK podcast featuring Spencer Cook and
Meredith Haddock. Yay!
Hey everybody, welcome back to our show. And
What's
today
going
we have a
on?
third person to introduce. It's not a third person, but
Yay!
Welch's Fruit Snacks. And you're probably wondering, why is Welch's so important to us? Well, it turns out I was talking to someone from Welch's over email throughout the semester and stuff, just contacting back and forth. And it turns out they like podcasts just as much as we do. So they didn't sponsor us. We're not partnered with them or anything like that, but they did send us a big 80 pouch box. And for reference,
It's huge.
it's huge. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And we've kind of already opened it, but just to give you like a good
Idea.
like money shot.
Woo!
Is that not incredible?
Got a lot of things.
A lot of stuff, yeah,
If we
and
had people
so-
working cameras, we would zoom in. but
Welch's
it's
is
fine.
awesome. We're going to be giving out pouches to all of our viewers, of course. You know, just comment down below, give us your address and your social security, and we'll shoot it your
debit
way.
card information,
Your
number
mom's,
on the back.
Your mom's debit card and
Yep.
the magical numbers on the back.
Yep, and
Yeah.
we will give you some.
Pretty
and if you
much.
have any charges in the future, we're sorry. It's not us.
It's not us. We
Not
didn't do
us.
anything.
Anyway,
Yeah.
welcome back to the podcast. We are so excited. We're going to get things started up again.
Mm-hmm.
It is a new year.
New us.
New semester. We are so excited. This is our first episode that we are recording after the new year and kind of getting everything just kind of started up and back up and running again.
Yeah.
Very successful last semester. We love doing this, coming here every weekend, hanging out with all of our best friends. It was absolutely amazing. So we thought we would do it again. So we are here
Is this
recording.
season 2? Is this technically season 2?
We have another season. If we're like
Season 2.
TV
And this season, okay, just to
show.
give you guys a hint, we're not good planners and we don't think that far ahead,
we're
but
really not.
we have a lot more planned for this season than we do like the first season. Because the first
Yeah.
season was like, hey, here's a video and then here's a couple random topics.
It's
and
like
it was
a
really
test.
it was
It's like a
scattered.
test run.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
scattered. And some of our episodes performed really well and others didn't. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of harp on some of the success that we saw last season.
Yeah.
And build off of it. We may be moving locations. We might be doing interviews, like a Billy on the Street kind of thing at
That
some
would
point.
be awesome, for sure.
So we have a lot of ideas and a lot of things we want to go over.
Yeah, we have some great special guests coming up as well, which we will probably save for the end of the podcast we'll talk about. And we just have some great stuff that we're thinking about planning too. So if you guys have any suggestions or information that you would like to let us know about things you want to hear, things we want to talk about, and just get involved, please, please, please let us know. We are so open to really talking about anything, anything that you guys may be interested in, because we do this for you.
Of course, and text us. You can text us, DM us on Instagram, and I'll
Yep.
put the stuff right here. Or you can email us at whackpodcast1@gmail.com. Shoot us an email.
Yes, we do
Let
have
us
an
know
email.
if you hate us. Let us know if you like us. If you have ideas or suggestions for the show,
Dear
it would be
WACK,
great.
you
Dear WACK,
suck.
return
Love.
your Welch's. Yeah.
Please
know.
stop taking my money. Anyway, so we really kind of thought about what we wanted to talk about this episode, and I called him last night at like 10 o'clock, and I was like, hey, what are we going to talk about? And we just really didn't have anything specific planned, so I thought we would just kind of ease into this. One episode that went really well last semester was our conspiracy theory episode.
Yes.
A ton of people around campus
Yes.
came to us and said, we love when you guys talk about this. We've been sending it to a lot of our friends. We got great reviews on it too. So we think that we may do that a little bit more often. I think that we enjoy talking about that, and obviously if you guys love it, we'll definitely do it more. So I think that's kind of the route that we're going to go today.
Yeah.
We also want to talk about the future of the podcast for this semester. Not sure what we're going to do as far as a lot of different interviews, but we do have some topics we want to cover. And just kind of what's been going on in our lives. We went a whole almost 2 months without seeing each other, and
pretty
Christmas
much.
break and Thanksgiving break and going into the new year and coming back for a semester. So we'll kind of digress on that. Is there anything specific you want to say about that or anything?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
We didn't do any. I didn't do anything. I had COVID for 2 weeks, and could not leave my room for like 14. It was like 13 days or 14 days.
Yeah.
And That was it. I mean, I
Yeah.
worked my tail off and got a lot of
Had
money.
Christmas
made
and
money.
New Year's.
Had
Yeah.
Christmas.
I also had COVID over break. Highly suggest to wear your mask and stay safe.
Absolutely,
It
yeah.
was not fun. Yes, absolutely. So, and I actually got it the day after Christmas. So that was definitely blows.
And I didn't give it to her. I actually got it from one of my friends.
Yes.
Before the
Yeah.
semester even ended. So
right around Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Like
literally.
the week before Thanksgiving.
Week before Thanksgiving, and then like the first week of December, I was just completely out of society. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. So definitely stay safe, wear your mask, do everything, social distance, all that kind of good stuff. We highly recommend it. And did you get anything special for Christmas or anything along those lines?
No, I got some clothes, of course.
Classic,
I got
classic
these
move.
nifty pants.
Hey,
Cool
look.
stuff. Yeah, shout out
New
my
pants.
girlfriend. Got me some cool pants. And my parents got me this really cool wireless
Hello?
headset, like for
Hello?
like audio and video production and stuff. And it was a very nice pair of headphones.
Nice.
That was about it. What about you?
I got some jewelry and obviously classic money from grandma, and I also got a new purse that my mom bought me and some new clothes. So just kind of classic stuff. I think this was the first year that I didn't really have anything specific I wanted on my list. As I was younger, I always had, I want this, I want this, I want this. But this year I was kind of
sure.
like, you know what I like? Just
Give it to me.
give me something that you think I would like. You like,
No,
the
I
colors
understand,
and my
I understand,
sizes
yeah.
and stuff like that. So it wasn't super hard. But why don't we kind of kick off what we're going to talk about today?
Which is, like you talked about, the most successful episode we had, which was conspiracy theories.
Dun 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 dun! We're so excited! Yay!
So, do you want to go first? You want me to go first, or what do you want?
You
what do
go
wanna do?
first.
So, of
Kick
course,
it
you want
off.
me to go first. Yes. So, I am
Best for last.
big into kind of hinting at what we're going to talk about this season. I really like murder mysteries, and I like death conspiracies and death cover-ups. I also like domino effects. That's something I've been reading into a lot. Is like I read somewhere online that because you put two horses together, and it's like approximately 8.5 feet in length, right? And they would attach carts to the back of these horses in ancient Rome, and because so many carts took the same path, it would carve, rivets from the wheels in the road. Well,
Yeah.
because of that, the same people who made the carts ended up making the railroad. So like modern day, railways are 8.5 feet apart. Well, if you didn't know, when the first space shuttle was being constructed, it had to be had to be transported through a train tunnel, right? So they had to make the thrusters for the rocket 8.5 feet wide so it would fit through the tunnel. And so because two horses standing beside each other equal 8.5 feet in width, the
Total.
space thrusters, probably 3,000 years later, had to be 8.5 feet in length.
That's
or width or whatever.
amazing.
It's just stupid stuff like that, but I think it's really cool. But one of the more interesting conspiracy theories I've picked up recently is the conspiracy theory discussing the topic, or the debate, that Paul McCartney died in 1966. And it's really weird because everybody knows who Paul McCartney is, and he's still very active in the music scene today with songs with just about everybody. I know everybody knows 4 or 5 Seconds by Kanye West and Rihanna and Paul McCartney, and that's probably one that more of kids my age would know. But 50 years ago, a Detroit DJ accidentally started the biggest hoax in rock and roll history. It's the Paul is dead craze is what it's called. It really took off 3 years after Paul supposedly died in 1966.
Okay.
And what had happened was he had accidentally played a song backwards. And when he did, he heard the words "Turn Me On, Dead Man." And that's, maybe he just misheard it or whatever, and people just kind of shrugged it off as a coincidence. But then at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever, John says, "I buried Paul," which is also weird because it's like, huh? Like, what's going on?
He's
And
dead?
also the Beatles had a hiatus too. From
Yep.
1966 to 1967, there's a hiatus where they didn't do anything. They weren't, no shows, no tours, nothing. They weren't seen in the public eye in any way
Okay.
or fashion.
Yeah.
And so people had already started speculating something was going on, but they didn't think, somebody, the main member died or whatever, until DJ Gibbs had said that on air. And then it just kind of plummets from there. People just started believing like, hey, he died in a car crash, or he had committed suicide, or all this other stuff. And there are tons and tons of clues inside the Beatles, like albums and album covers and songs that hint towards Paul actually passing away in 1966. And even Paul McCartney kind of added on to this in 1974, or supposedly Paul McCartney. But in an interview with the Rolling Stone back in '74, he said, someone rang me up one day and said, "Look, Paul, you're dead." And that was it. That's all they said. And he was just like, okay, I don't agree with that. That's weird.
Somebody
called him, somehow got his personal like office number or whatever it was,
and said,
and called, hey, you're dead, and then hung up the phone.
God.
And he was just like, oh, that was crazy. Like, it's obviously not true or whatever.
Like a prank call or something like that.
But if you keep going through and looking at some of the stuff, like the cover of the album Abbey Road, they're in line like it's a funeral procession. And one of the license plates it says like 28 IF is the license plate. 28 if. Well, Paul would have been 28 if he had been alive when Abbey Road was released. And like that's, and of course,
wow.
Of course, he supposedly was alive, but everybody else was so caught on no, he's not. Like maybe there's a chance he isn't. And if you keep looking, of course, on a couple other album covers, I know one of them, Paul McCartney, or supposedly Paul, is barefoot. And he's holding a cigarette in his left hand, and those are both symbols of death as well, because he's the only one that is barefoot in the picture. All the other members have shoes on. And a barefoot is like a crossing over to, when you're barefoot in some religions and some like traditions and cultures, being barefoot signifies you're crossing over to the afterlife.
Okay.
And so a lot of people took that as a big sign that he was, he had died there. And then there's also some lines in a couple of the songs. I Am the Walrus ends with a live BBC broadcast of a fatal scene from Shakespeare's King Lear, with Oswald groaning, "Oh, untimely death." And of course, nobody thought of it like that, right? But then in another song, in Glass Onion, John sings, "Here's another clue for you all, the walrus was Paul." And of course, in that walrus song, it talks about untimely death and somebody passing away.
Interesting.
And it's kind of weird, because why in the world would they put lyrics like that in their song if Paul wasn't dead, gone,
Yeah.
And so, of course, the rumor keeps blowing up, and, the real Paul McCartney is supposedly still alive, and he declines it and doesn't talk about it to this day. He said, even John Lennon said, way back when, he was like, it's the most stupid rumor I've ever heard. It just sounds like some guy blew this way out of the proportions. But from what we can tell, there's no good answer, and nobody has ever given a definite yes or no as to whether or not Paul McCartney is gone and he's been replaced by an imposter.
I was about to say, so if he did die, what year did you say?
1966.
Then who would replace him?
Yeah. And this was also right before they had become like their peak.
Like ultimate, Beatles
This was
era.
literally, 1966 was the year that the Beatles picked up momentum, and they were on track to become like the biggest band of all time. And of course, I mean, as we know now, 60 years later, they still are one of the biggest bands in, modern music history. But people speculate, with all this momentum and all this cash they're bringing in and all this craze from, the teenagers across the world and, the UK and America and all this other stuff, why would they stop? And so that explains why at almost the height of their career, they took a year hiatus, didn't do anything, didn't talk to anyone, didn't go out in public, nothing. And nobody has an answer as to why that hiatus was taken. Of course, people are like, oh, creative differences. We all had to take time to, relax and space.
Think about what we wanted to do,
but
in the future.
Who does that? You're on top of the music industry.
Especially for a year. It made sense for like a month or 2 months or something like that. But a year is, that's a pretty long hiatus especially for a band.
Yeah, and then of course, there's more in some newer songs from late '60s and '70s. If you reverse a couple of the songs, you can hear cryptic messages about Paul being dead. One of them, the song "I'm So Tired." If you spin it backwards, you can hear the words "Paul is dead, man, miss him, I miss him." Now, is that not weird? That whole string can be audibly heard when you play the song backwards. That's so weird.
That is really bizarre. Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Great
So,
job.
Thank
Yay.
you. Great job. Man, you're like my kindergartner teacher.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's very, very interesting, though. If you guys
Thank you.
heard about that or maybe read anything on it or you know anything about it, please feel free to let us know in the comments down below. But on a lighter note, Ryan helped me figure out this one. Thank you so much. I'm going to talk about 10 dark Disney theories that change your favorite movies.
Okay, go for it.
So a few of these are kind of just like, you know, just kind of like, oh, obviously that's not true. But a few of these are pretty interesting. So thank you. There's 10. You want one?
There you go, Ryan. All right, there's another one.
It fell on the camra. Sorry, guys.
Don't sit
We're
down.
throwing
Keep
Welch snacks everywhere. So let's talk about this. One, very, very popular. Carl from the Ryan. Carl from the movie Up was
Yes.
dead all along. So there's a theory that it says Up tugged at our heartstrings more than most thanks to its opening title sequence called Merry Life, where Carl and Ellie, they go through that timeline of how we discover Ellie has passed away.
Yeah.
And after watching their life together, it was easier to see why Mr. Fredricksen had been grumpy and a loner all of these years. But there is a theory that Carl was dead all along, and his trip, which is the whole basis of the movie, to Paradise Falls, where him and Ellie had dreamed of going their whole married life, is his move into the afterlife. So going with this, Russell, who is the little Boy Scout, cute little boy, he is an angel trying to earn his wings, so that's why he's so adamant about earning his pen, because it's a representation of earning his wings as an angel. And elsewhere, Charles Mutz, who is Charles Mutz, is that the...
Oh, shouldn't he be dead?
Isn't he the bad guy?
Yeah, he's the skinny bad guy.
Who goes in is it the blimp? The
And
blimp?
he shouldn't be alive in that movie,
Is
right?
a fallen angel hell-bent on dragging Carl to the underworld, also known as hell. So what do you think of this theory? Do you think it could be true?
Obviously stretched, just like mine.
Very stretched, but in the universe, it does make sense.
It does, and Charles Muntz remember, he's an adult when Carl was a kid, because Carl's watching tapes of him on, the TV.
Yes, flying.
So there is absolutely no way that this Charles Muntz guy is still alive and able-bodied.
I was about to say, and when
Carl's old.
And when Carl and Russell meet him, Carl looks older than him. You know what I mean? And so if he's younger as a child, it's kind of like, where's the age kind of...
The age difference,
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
So, that is kind of weird, yeah. I want to hear the next one. That one's good. That was number 10. Let's hear number 9.
So that's actually number 1.
Oh, okay.
It goes like 1 through 10. All of these I won't read, but some of them I will pick and choose. So the number 4 one is Andy's mom from Toy Story 2 is actually Emily, Jesse's old owner.
How does that work?
So it says, one of the most emotional scenes from the critically acclaimed Toy Story 2, it features Jessie in that tear-jerking moment montage of When She Loved Me, talking about Jessie's past life. We don't learn what happened to Jesse's owner after Emily gave up her in a donation box, and it led to some theories that the cold-hearted Emily, in fact, could be Andy's mom. Notice that Andy has worn a human-sized version of Jesse's hat in Toy Story 1 before Jessie was even a character involved in the series.
Yeah.
Which is, evidence over the years points to the strange mystery surrounding the real name of Andy's mom, because her real name is never revealed in the series whatsoever.
Yeah.
The ages also match up, but we will have to wait. Oh, and this article came out right before Toy Story 4 was released. I I don't know if it could be true. It would be really interesting if Pixar kind of said like, oh yeah, it's true, but there's not a lot of real evidence
don't see it,
behind it.
no.
You know what I mean? I feel like there are some things that maybe tie it together, but definitely how they never reveal Andy's mom's first name ever.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Number 5, this is interesting. Captain Hook's murdered Ariel's mother in The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning. So that was a prequel to obviously The Little Mermaid. And so it was revealed that the heartache of Queen Athena, I think that's how you say it, was killed by pirates. And remembering Peter Pan, there was a red-headed mermaid that looked a lot like Ariel in the lagoon when like Wendy and him go down there and she like meets the mermaids. And they were scared of Hook, and he definitely has the right gear on his hand to gut the helpless queen.
The helpless queen.
But there is a theory that Captain Hook did kill Ariel's mother.
Offer. Yeah, that's crazy.
Mother Gothel from Tangled is Snow White's evil queen, which I think could
can see that being
definitely
true,
be
for sure.
true.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this type of story, like Tangled and Snow White, I feel like it takes place in kind of a similar time
Like
period.
tandem universes, yeah.
Some think Tangled is actually a sequel to Snow White, and that the Disney villain Evil Queen survived her crushing defeat in 1937. We've seen how the Evil Queen used her magic to appear as an old hag, while Mother Gothel used the magic flower to stay young. So Disney has a lot of connections, and aside from the old Evil Queen and old Gothel looking eerily similar, the Kingdom of Corona shares plenty of visual similarities with the Evil Queen's castle. And then proponents of the theory guess that the Evil Queen faked her death in Snow White and going
And ran away.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that they probably survived.
Actually, kind of makes sense. I like that
It
one.
kind of does.
Yeah.
I feel like it could be some kind of sequel to it, and that she actually did survive. So those were the main ones that kind of caught my eye. Number 7 is Cars Killed the Human Race, which kind of sounds bizarre.
Didn't we talk about that last semester where cars came from? If they didn't
We talked about like our
and-
first or second episode.
Yeah, how do cars get
It's
into
like
that?
if you get, what is it, like a Mustang or a Camaro, you get
Yeah.
like something.
Well, I remember we talked about that, and we were kind of creeped out and grossed out because
Yeah, it's like,
how
how
are
do
cars
they-
brought into the car universe? Because they signify they can die, right? Because they kill a couple cars in the second one.
Yeah.
Or the third one, whenever they're secret agents.
Yeah,
It's
that's the second one.
Yeah. So how are they born? Like that's so weird.
That would be interesting. Pixar, if you're watching,
We would love to see a movie
we would
about
love
how
to
cars
see
came to
how
be.
cars are born.
Yeah.
There's one about Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Nice.
There's a theory about the even darker death of Anna and Elsa's parents.
Did you know that they have been confirmed to be Tarzan's parents as well?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So when Anna and Elsa weren't building snowmen, however, what a world where their parents lived to fight another day and ended up lost in the jungles of Tarzan to start a new family. So as the director, he told MTV that he always imagined Tarzan was the little brother of Anna and Elsa, which totally makes sense. That's kind of, wow, that's amazing. And it's nice that it's like confirmed, you know what I mean?
It is pretty cool. But they does show the death of her parents or their parents in the second movie. But I've seen a lot of people talk about the fact that that death isn't confirmed because it's just a memory from the water. Remember, water holds memory and whatever.
The death for
it wasn't death.
Anna
it was just
and Elsa's
parents.
was in the first one when they went down with the
They
ship.
discover it in the second one as well. Have you seen the second one yet?
Yeah.
Remember they go down to the ship and they find the shipwreck?
Yes. Oh,
and
yeah.
their parents are like sitting there holding each other, and they like replay this memory that the water holds, and it's like, oh my God, we're gonna die.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I do remember. It's been so long since I've seen Frozen 2, but yes, I do remember that.
Frozen 2 literally came out last year, didn't it? 2019.
So almost 2 years ago. Isn't that crazy? That was my conspiracy theory. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So if you guys have any that you want us to talk about and do a little bit of research on, please let us know. But those were two that kind of stuck out to us. I thought that definitely talking about that kind of like fun kind of stuff to get your brain turning is definitely fun. But is there really anything else that you want to talk about?
I think that's it. I think we did a good job for a nice little welcome back episode. Talk about some conspiracy
For sure.
theories, and I think in the future we're gonna stick to not solely just mysteries and stuff, but in the future I would like to talk about some more interesting things to get your brain turning and get you thinking.
Have a
just because
conversation with us. Absolutely.
That stuff is really interesting, and I
It
think people
is.
love having to think,
about
know?
it.
Yeah.
Mhm, absolutely.
So.
We definitely want to do some TV show and movie reviews.
Mm-hmm.
WandaVision just came out on Disney Plus. Ryan and I have been watching
It's
it,
very
freaking out
good.
about
Have
it.
you seen the
It
third
is-
episode?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
So
It's
good.
good.
So if you guys want us to kind of digress about all the theories behind what's going to be the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we would love to talk about that.
Of course.
And we have some special guests coming up. Should we reveal who it is, or should we kind of keep it a little bit
Keep
surprise?
everything a secret.
Okay, we'll keep it a
just
surprise.
roll it out as it comes.
All right, sounds good. That's all really we have today. If you guys want to reach out to us, follow us on Instagram, contact us, everything along those lines. We love you. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.